There is some validity to building a team that's more dependent on all the execution and all the ball handling involved in throwing the ball downfield, catching it, doing all the things in the ball handling area that you have to do passing the ball versus just handing it to a dude that's 2 feet away. So there is something to that in regards to building a team based on passing in an area of the country that where it can be inclement weather for a couple weeks at the end of the season, especially against the most important team.
I'll just jump in. Look at what Nick Saban has done. He finally started coming around to, I need a quarterback who can throw the ball. I can't do it with Blake Sims or Phil Sims or, any of the Simses. And so he went out and started getting quarterbacks who could sling the ball because the offenses just weren't getting it done for him. And you couldn't necessarily just win via defense anymore. And even Georgia had an offense to get the job done when they needed to last year. But it is interesting because Ryan Day was even asked about this maybe last week about how the offense needed to win a national championship is not necessarily the offense needed to win the Big Ten. And so you've got to serve those two masters of getting that done. And last year that didn't work out, but it's okay to credit the opponent with winning stuff. And it's not always your fault you lost. Sometimes it's the fault of the person that beat you. But not being able to run the ball last year was an issue at times. Now, 2019, 2020, they led the Big Ten in rushing. Ohio State did, and they were able to run the ball just fine. But I think you'll see that Ohio State, their offense is built to win a national championship, and they assume it will be enough to win the Big Ten along the way. Michigan's offense is built to win the Big Ten, and then that's it. And then what happens after they get out of the Big Ten? They get shut down just like they did last year. I was surprised. I think we were all surprised to see them in the playoffs last year. But that's as far as they can go. Is they can win the Big Ten as long as Ohio State's defense is really, really, really bad. So I think at this point, if Michigan beats Ohio State 2 years in a row, I think last year was. I think last year I blame Ohio State's defense a little bit. And if they beat them this year, then credit Jim Harbaugh, credit the Michigan offense, because Ohio State did a bunch of things to counter the loss to Michigan last year. And if it doesn't work this year, then, credit Michigan this time.
Yep. Good points there. I think that, again, you got to be the better team up front if you want to win these, mash them up type games, and we'll find out. It's coming up in 10 days from now. We're going to know the answers to all the questions, everything that's been looming all season long. We are going to find out either they are or they're not. And that's kind of the neat thing. And I know that we're going to take this little detour to College Park, Maryland on Saturday and ting that bell just as they've tinged the bells of Indiana, Iowa, and everybody else all the way through. So, this team has been, I thought they really pulled it together and played an outstanding game last Saturday. Obviously Indiana is not very good, but I thought Ohio State played lights out. And to me, I asked Jim Knowles this question yesterday, the defensive coordinator. I said, the offenses you faced are averaged 93rd, 94th in the country for the season, your first 10 opponents. Your next one, Maryland's like 64 in total offense, although they were in the 30s or 40s till the last week or so. And then Michigan's 24. So how does this equate? Is your defense really ready to play against competent offense? And he said, it's all about building habits and doing things the right way in practice and showing it on Saturday. And he said, doing it against whatever team they put out in front of us. And he said, yeah, I'm pretty happy that we've had good habits. And when you look at that game, Indiana, I think they put the backup quarterback in on the fourth series. He drove for a touchdown. And then the only other touchdown that they had, I think, came after the muffed punt, I believe. So in the second half, which, they had a short field, just as there was a short field for whatever the turnover was one of the previous weeks at the 2, 3, 4, 5 yard line, whatever it was. Maybe the Iowa game or the Penn State game. I don't know. I forget which one, but there was a turnover in a short field for them as well. So, the defense has only given up really one touchdown a game here the last 5 or 6 weeks, and that's been pretty good.